My name is Lisa, and I'm here with my teammates Vanessa, Kevin, and Karen. For our business project, we studied a restaurant called Burger Deli. In this presentation, I'll first introduce the general environment and facts regarding the business, and then Kevin will talk about the restaurant's key decisions and processes. And finally, Karen and Vanessa will discuss some suggestions we believe would improve the business. Alright, so Burger Deli is located in a district called Sai Kung, which is about a 20-minute bus commute from the UST campus. It is staffed by a married couple and has been open for about a year and a half. The restaurant's menu consists of about 8 different types of burgers that would be found in any ordinary burger joint in America, and also has other classic American food items like hot dogs, french fries, and chicken strips. Burger Deli is the only American restaurant in the area and is surrounded by other local small Asian restaurants. During multiple times when we ate at the restaurant, we noticed that most customers were either internationals, possibly locals or traveling tourists, since the nearby coast and its various water activities is considered a tourist attraction. An international school called the Hong Kong Academy is also situated close by, so students often flock there for lunch, which is their busiest time. From the menu and customer demographics, we concluded that the restaurant is aimed at attracting international tastes and fulfills a demand in the market that would be otherwise left unsatisfied. This is the information we gathered from observation and interview questions. I'll now hand it off to Kevin, who will talk about how these factors affect the restaurant's decisions and processes.
I will talk about a few key decisions and decision processes that drive Burger Deli's success in their market. We also asked their management a few questions to better understand how they arrive at these decisions. Using these, we came up with a few decision traps that Burger Deli could be falling into. It's obvious that Burger Deli has many merits that draw people's attention and allows it to be successful and profitable in Sai Kung. So what drives success and differentiates Burger Deli? We boiled it down to 4 main qualities about Burger Deli that makes it successful, which is high quality burgers, reasonable prices, fast and courteous service, and a snack bar that sells snacks, drinks, candy, and other small products like that. When we visited the premises, we conducted a short interview with the management that went as follows. The first question was, have you ever considered expanding the menu?
Since the business is relatively new, we don't want to include too many items because we are still experimenting with what works and what doesn't, but maybe in the future.
Great. And second, what do you consider when placing orders from suppliers?
Based on our system's records of the number of items sold each day, we calculate the average orders of weekdays and weekends separately. We usually order slightly more than average to ensure we have enough inventory.
Okay, great. So from this interview, we were able to see that while there is some objective reasoning, which is seen in making measurements and calculations to define requirements and project what they need for the future, the bulk of their decision-making is done through subjective reasoning. This is based on their past experience and what they already know works and what doesn't work. This sort of decision process making is very risk-averse in that they make choices based on safety rather than taking risk to potentially make bigger gains. This ultimately leads Burger Deli to possibly falling into a few decision traps. The first is the prudence trap, in which they are overcautious, expect the worst possible circumstance, and are not confident in expanding their operations and business. The second one is the status quo trap, in which they prefer the least resistance and effort while not embracing change. Because of this, they could miss out on potential opportunities. Next, I'm passing it off to my teammate Vanessa, who will talk about how they can avoid these decision traps.
So how do I make insightful decisions? I'm going to introduce to you the structured decision-making process and how we're going to apply it to the Burger Deli case. Next, I'm going to talk about how to avoid the prudence trap as well as the status quo trap through introducing 2 different examples. Structured decision-making is an organized approach to developing and evaluating creative alternatives and making defensible choices. It's particularly useful for helping groups work productively together on decisions marked by technical uncertainty and controversial trade-offs. At the core of SDM is the idea that it is possible and necessary to create a deliberative environment that deals rigorously with both facts and values in decision-making. To structure decision-making is to look at alternatives and evaluate them based on potential outcomes. For example, the owner of the deli shop can compare the alternatives of different ingredient suppliers and evaluate them based on multiple criteria such as price, quality, and consistency. Structured decision-making can ensure the best outcome is chosen given the acquired information. So how we can avoid the previous two decision traps, prudence and status quo trap? It is important for an entrepreneur to think of long-term development of the company in an ever-changing market and foresees potential outcomes. How the Microsoft and Nokia failed to catch up on the smartphone trend is a perfect example of short-sightedness. In the case of Burger Deli, the owner should consider the long-term food trend of the city. For example, 2 years ago, several Korean drama shows made a huge hit in Hong Kong market, leading to a food trend of Korean cuisine. Countless restaurants in Hong Kong have succeeded in attracting customers with creating food items with Korean elements. Burger Deli could have taken the idea and created burgers with a Korean twist, marketing and distinguished itself as a hip, secluded burger shop, attracting youngsters and foodie alike.
So apart from adopting a structured decision-making model, Burger Deli could understand its business better and make more insightful decisions with quantitative techniques. In the following time, we'll introduce 3 of them with some made-up numbers.
The first one is break-even analysis. In Burger Deli's operation, there are fixed costs like the rental and variable costs like the ingredient. Knowing when total fixed cost is covered will show whether the business is worth doing. In our example, the total fixed cost consists of the rental and opportunity cost of self-employment, and profit margin is $50. It means the couple needs to serve 1,300 orders each month before they really start to make money. The second technique is news vendor model. Instead of always ordering more arbitrarily, the couple should know the optimal inventory to have. They can find out the average demand and standard deviation of each item based on computer record. Take the special kicked-in snack bar as an example. In our case, the underage cost of having too few inventory to satisfy demand is $13, which is much higher than having unsold cake at just $5, making it more favorable to have more inventory than average demand to capture the potential profit. However, in case where overage cost is higher than underage cost, it is likely to order less than average demand to avoid big loss. The final technique is linear programming model. Burgers are quite standardized and share a lot of input in common. If Burger Deli would like to change their operation to make two-stock model in the future, it is useful for them to know how many burgers of each variety to prepare in order to maximize profit under constraints of demands and shared input. In our example, beef burger is the least profitable one, and it requires long preparation and baking time, and has the lowest profit margin.
So that concludes our presentation. It was really fun getting to complete our final project at one of our favorite restaurants and applying class concepts to a real-life situation and analyzing their business decisions. We had fun conversing with the owners and discussing business concepts that we didn't think much about before. In the future, we will be able to apply these same concepts, and we can assure you that our decisions will be nothing short of insightful.